3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
Salam and welcome to the Single Muslim Live, sponsored by SingleMuslim.com. With me, Nazia Khatun. We're live here on Sky 752 and across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Wherever you're watching, a very warm welcome. You too can join us in today's discussion, actually, and get advice by simply calling through to the studio on 01924 231083. Standard rates apply. Please make sure that you have the bill payer's permission before calling. Why not share your thoughts with us on WhatsApp in confidence by messaging us on 079 507 97017. And today's guest, the first week of Ramadan, we are joined by Jamila Tailor, and the topic is the mindset of a single Muslim. Assalamu alaikum, Jamila.
Wa alaikum salam, Nazia. It's great to be here. I'm excited for us to talk.
Oh, brilliant. How is your first couple of days of Ramadan going so far?
They're going good, alhamdulillah. I think yesterday I was a bit tired, but today I was just so energized. Don't even feel like I'm fasting.
You said earlier today when I was on the call to you, it doesn't feel like I'm fasting because I'm doing this talk now.
Yeah, I was so excited for it. Excited for it.
I just want to start off with the first question. Tell us a bit about what you do as a mindset coach.
So I'm a mindset coach primarily for female entrepreneurs, helping them bust money and mindset blocks in their businesses and helping them let go of self-doubt and worthiness issues so they can attract clients from a place of ease and flow. But I also coach women struggling with anxiety, low self-worth, low self-esteem and confidence issues so that they feel really empowered in their personal lives too.
Wow, that's a lot, isn't it? I think this is what the community need. You spoke about anxiety, you spoke about confidence, you spoke about self-esteem. We're going to touch on all those kind of things in a bit. The topic is about the mindset of a single Muslim. We have had amazing guests in the past on different topics. Last week was about mental health. And today we're going to really narrow down and speak a lot about mindset. In your definition, what does mindset mean? What do you define as a mindset?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing that comes up for mindset with me is how much can you control your thoughts, and how much are you separating your thoughts from who you really are? Because your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions don't always have to determine you. They don't always have to mean who you are. It's when you choose to attach to them, that's when you can sometimes, allow them to move for you in a positive way or in a negative way.
We struggle a lot with our mindset now, more than ever before, especially with so much information out there, and we have so much resources as well, don't we? And what I found was whenever I go to a bookshop back then, when things were open in Waterstones, the self-help development part of the store is just packed. It's actually got the most best-selling books there as well. What do you think we're really struggling with at the moment?
I think the biggest thing I see is, like you mentioned, we're in an information technology era where everything is available for us. But does that mean you're actually using it? Does that mean you're actually applying it in your life? You could read all the self-development books, but if you're not fully applying them, if you're not embodying the teachings of them, nothing in your life will really change. So it has to be, that's the thing that's missing, is people putting themselves in that situation, in that uncomfortable sometimes situation of doing the deep work to actually start creating shifts within themselves.
Wow, that is amazing. The single Muslimah or the Muslim brother out there, everybody's struggling with the pandemic as well. I assume there's going to be a lot of things we need to work through in terms of going back out there again. Now, I know you work with a lot of single Muslim females in particular. What do you think are the major topics that are that you find are people struggling with at the moment, especially with lockdown and the pandemic in this last year or so?
I think the biggest thing is that low self-esteem and people pleasing, this constant need to give more to other people and constantly overgiving, but then realizing that you yourself are really, really depleted, that you don't have any more else to give. And then you start feeling resentful, you start feeling angry and bitter. So I think that's one of the huge things that's really kind of like, it's always been there, but I feel like the pandemic has just brought that out even more, where people are realizing, hey, I can't carry on like this anymore. I need to stand up for myself. I need to speak up for myself. I need to build my self-esteem and my confidence a lot more.
It's very interesting. You just said people pleasing and trying to, what was the other word you just said? People pleasing and
There's low self-esteem and like constantly overgiving.
These are some of the traits that we have in my community and majority of the South Asian community, where we're constantly told, like especially when it comes to meeting your spouse, the should and the must. And when people have set back, especially in the pandemic now, I'm assuming people are feeling a lot of resentment because they don't really know what they want, because they're going by the family pressures as well, aren't they?
Yeah. It's sort of like this identity crisis that happens, because when you're constantly in the identity of overgiving and looking at others and never really looking at yourself, or never being there for yourself, or loving on yourself, or caring for yourself, you don't even know, like you said, you don't even know what will fill your cup. You don't even know what will make you feel good, because you're so much in that sense of constantly giving too much or constantly overgiving.
That's really interesting. Why do you think then mindset, like you explained before, it's our inner thoughts, how we're channeling positivity. Why do you think, in your opinion, actually, why do you think mindset is important for the single Muslims out there right now?
I think the thing that's important just for everyone, but particularly single Muslims, is when you transform your mindset, when you transform your own identity around yourself, and you increasing your own self-esteem and your self-confidence and your sense of worthiness. If you really want to attract a partner, you're at that level and energy and space to attract a healthy partner. And B, you realize that that's not your be all and end all. Like there's so much more to life that can give you fulfillment, that can really lift you, that can really shape who you are, than just that.
I want to go back to this point you just made about the identity. How do you then coach your clients for them to come back to themselves, to find out what they want?
So my coaching involves a lot of inner child work and a lot of coming back to yourself and your own emotions and your own feelings, because too often, you know, since childhood, so many women have been taught to like numb down their feelings, numb down their emotions, not to express themselves, not to say how they're feeling. And because of that, they shut down. And that's why so many women have said to me that I haven't cried in ages. I haven't felt anything in ages. I feel numb in my body. And reconnecting to your body, reconnecting to your emotions, and reconnecting to who you are and your inner child can really allow your worthiness to get up and your self-esteem and your confidence to rise also.
It's fascinating because I've been having a lot of conversations with friends that are single, not single. And I find the friends that have been single and been living by themselves, especially in this last year or so, one of the major things that's coming up is the need for companionship. And some of these friends have a lot of work to do. And you mentioned inner child work. When they go through this journey of inner child, what is it that's been resolved at the core then?
So all of us have this inner child wound within us, things that our parents were not able to give us when we were small, things that society didn't dictate to us in a healthy manner, things where we felt we were shunned down, shut down, where we had to hide, we had to not really be who we are. So it can be even small things, like maybe you done really well in an exam at school and your parents didn't really celebrate you enough, or you felt like you had to constantly perform to get their approval, and there's this part of you that's seeking that approval. There's this part of you that's afraid of rejection. There's this part of you that's needy. This part of you that feels afraid of abandonment. And when you start healing that inner part of you, you see that part of you starts showing up less and less in your modern day relationships. And you emotionally so much more healthy. And the person you'll attract into your life will also be a lot more emotionally healthy.
You just said something about the exam bit, and I just went straight into my mind of the past when I came back home with my GCSEs and I didn't get that many A's or A stars. And my father compared me to a cousin of mine, and it was a very young age, at the age of 16. And throughout my whole life, I was always seeking to approve people.
Yeah.
And it's very crazy because a lot of the things we're speaking about right now, what you're saying about the inner healing, the child work, as a community, we're not really familiar with these kind of concepts. It's not seen as some things we need to work on. And I guess as a coach, you see this all the time when you're working through this with the clients, how much they transform. So therefore, like, can you just go in a bit actually as well about the inner child? Because I had to do a lot of inner child work stemming from those moments where I felt rejected, where I felt abandonment. What is inner child work? And how can people start even?
Yeah, so inner child work really stems down to you meeting the needs of that child version of you. So that child version of you that was maybe abandoned by their parents, that never felt like their emotions or their feelings were heard and understood, that felt like they always needed to get attention for their parents or approval of their parents, that felt like they were neglected in some ways. It's you now as an adult reparenting that inner child, so that you're healing them from those childhood wounds, so that you're not carrying on that trauma. And I say trauma in the big sense of trauma, the capital T and the little t, because I believe everyone carries around tiny little bits of trauma in their body, whether they realize it or not, because there's always something that's happening that your body remembers, your subconscious remembers so much. It operates 90%, 95% of your day. So when you're actually healing those parts of yourself, you're realizing that the things that are now showing up in your life, you're able to deal with them in a completely different way. So for example, if you were the eldest child and you had to be the one that was always, in charge and always getting things done and had to step in as parent, you might see that pattern happening right now where you're the one that's always having to, right now, even with your siblings or even in the workplace or even in your family home right now, you're the one that's always constantly stepping up to get everything done, trying to be in charge, trying to take control. And you're not seeing that actually this can actually negatively impact you when you're never leaning back. You're never really allowing your feminine energy to flow. You're never being the one that lets people do things for you. And when you heal that version of you, when you heal that, okay, there's this need for me to do that because I was conditioned to be like that as a child. When you heal that part of you, you then allow, the other positive aspects of the real version of you to come out.
How do you think then that impacts the mindset of a single Muslim as they're going to find their spouse or looking for their spouse?
I think this is a difficult question to answer because everyone has different conditioning. Now, you might be a single, this is just an example I'm giving, but you might be a single Muslim woman who, like the example I just gave, is constantly always controlling and always trying to, manage every kind of situation. And that might be impacting you right now in finding a spouse. Or you might be one who had childhood issues of fears of feeling safe around your parents because you could never express your emotions. You never felt like you could be yourself, tell them that this is my friend, we're going here, because you felt like they're going to shout at you, you felt like something's going to happen. So right now, when you're maybe looking for a relationship, you have fears of intimacy where when things are probably getting good, you self-sabotage and you do something to back away because it doesn't feel normal to you. It doesn't feel safe to you that there can be this level of safety, emotional safety and trust.
There's so many layers to this, isn't it? Like a lot of people are struggling with finding the right spouse, the dream partner. And one of the key things is where our communities really pressure individuals to go and look for a partner, and they struggle with that. You said some amazing things about the inner work, the mindset of a single Muslim, and how it impacts even from our childhood traumas to where we are when it comes to being in a relationship or looking for a partner as well. So it's very important for us to look at this from a different perspective and look at the things that we need to work on, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think before marriage, before relationships, you have to start with inner work first, because you're only going to attract the person that you are really an energetic match for. And what I mean by that is, if right now you feel like your life's a complete mess, you're constantly depressed or sad or anxious, or that there's a belief in you that there's not enough good men out there, or all the good men are taken, or people don't treat me right. If that's the energy you're going to bring into a relationship, you're probably going to attract that back. But if you're doing the inner work to increase your worthiness, increase your self-esteem and your confidence, then when you go into a relationship, you're going to attract a healthy partner back.
Let's talk about this one phrase you just said there, one bad relationship. And I guess females are really bad in doing this. All men are X, Y, and Z. There are no good men out there. Or a man has a bad relationship with a female, then it's like all females are X, Y, and Z. How dangerous is that kind of mindset?
So when I said that was like your beliefs, what I'm saying is that a belief is like a thought that you think is true. So if you're having the thought that you're believing is true, that there's not enough good enough men out there, or all the good men are taken, or no one's going to treat me right, then your actions, the next steps that you take in finding someone is going to literally lead you to that, because you're not going to look at the people that are probably going to treat you right. You're not going to look in the places where there are good people. You're probably going to default to what you know to be true in your mind.
And this then actually does manifest in the things that we do in our day-to-day life and who we attract, isn't it, as well? Like this energetic force that we have in our belief system then creates that people who we attract, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because if you saw somebody that seemed emotionally healthy and stable, you probably would find them boring, because they're not giving you that drama fix that you're looking for in your beliefs are, which is people don't treat me right, or there's not good enough men out there. So you're going to find the excitement in a way in those people, rather than the people that are emotionally healthy and stable, because they're going to, in your mind, in your nervous system, they're going to sound boring to you, because that's not what your body and your nervous system is used to.
Beautiful. I'm going to come back to this because I want you to give us some hints on, or tips, shall I say, on how to fix that mindset on thinking all men are X, Y, and Z, or there are no good men out there, or all females are, whatever the sentence is after that. It's a great topic we're going to be addressing when we come back. Today's topic is a mindset of a single Muslim, and there are many things that we're covering today, different layers. Inner child work, understanding rejection, abandonment. We're here with Jamila Tailor today, a mindset coach. So please make sure, if you have any questions around this topic, to message us on 079 50797 017. We have a lot to get through in the next 45 minutes, and we're very, very honored to have Jamila Tailor. So please make sure you stay tuned, and we shall see you after the break.
With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live. With 3 million members searching, SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
welcome back on a great topic with Jamila Taylor around the mindset of a single Muslim. Please, we would love to hear from you. So make sure you message us on 079-507-97017. Jamila, we were just talking about the language and the belief systems that we have around certain things, probably our past as well. Can you give us some tips then on how single Muslims, and I know this a lot from talking to friends, when they've had a bad relationship, something that's let them down in getting to know someone, we create this inner belief about, it could be anything, right? Whether it's about the opposite gender, about marriage, about relationship, whether it's too hard, X, Y, and Z. How can we actually work around it and create a new belief then?
So it takes a lot of belief reprogramming work. And the first step is actually identifying what your limiting beliefs are. So what are the beliefs you have around having a happy, successful, easy marriage right now? Like, what are the things coming up for you around having it? It's not available for me. I'm too old to find someone. I don't look like the type of person people want. I need to work harder. What are the things that come up for you? And then once you find what these limiting beliefs are, start questioning them. And start questioning them not just from like your cultural perspective, because remember, culture is just something recent. Like, it's not been there since the beginning of time. Culture is very recent. So look at it from like a holistic perspective. Are these beliefs really true? Is it really true that there's not enough good guys out there? Like, is it really true? If you look at it like that, no, the answer is no, because there are so many, like there's 6 billion, 7 billion people on the planet. I'm sure like there is some good people out there. Is it really true that you're too old? Ask yourself, is that really true? Do you know for absolute 100% certainty that somebody else would find you too old and basically say no? The answer is no, because there could be one person who's the exact perfect age for you that would say, I'm glad that you're this old because I love how you matured, or I'm looking for someone who's a lot older, who's past a certain age. So start questioning your limiting beliefs and go deep into these limiting beliefs. Like, sometimes these limiting beliefs are a lot based on culture than based on what you might be thinking. Like, actually look, like this is actually a belief I've got from culture, or this is a belief I've got from my parents, or this is a belief I picked up from friends because they're the ones that keep telling me this. It's not really true. And then start looking for proof of the opposite. So that there are enough men out there, okay? It's not believing that for yourself. Start saying it to yourself. Start actively embodying that, okay, the right person for me is out there looking for me, and that there are good people out there.
See, what you just said there, do these thoughts belong to us? And most of the beliefs that we have does not belong to us. And I give you a prime example of what you just said there. Am I too old, or am I good enough is another one that we have. Do I make the best ever spouse for that person? And the reason why I touch on this is because we have the South Asian community. I can only talk about the South Asian community because that's where I'm from Bangladesh. We have a very toxic way of pressurizing the generation now. And that makes me touch on our parents' mentality of actually addressing marriage, which is actually very, very toxic in a way, and it's not working in a way. What worked for them no longer works for this generation and the generations after us as well. How do we then, like, for example, a single Muslim who's watching this now has listened to you about self-belief, about your limiting beliefs, about inner child and everything. How do we then work with what our parents expect from us as well? Because that is it's a really, how do I call it? It makes us really restricted in our mindset as well. So how do we figure that one out?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is realizing that at the core, your parents just want you to be happy. Even if they say otherwise, there's an innate need in parents to see their children happy. Now, if you're the one that's got all of these limiting beliefs, is kind of sad or worried or anxious about it all, that's what they're going to see from you. But if you're somebody who's like, heck yes, I'm single and I love it and I know the right person for me will find me, and I'm confident they will, and I'm just going to live my best life right now as I do so, they're going to know and trust that, hey, she's okay. And then when you do, find someone, they're going to be happy for you. And if you don't, they're still going to be happy for you because they see that you're happy regardless, that you don't need them to worry for you because you're not even worrying for yourself.
There's a lot of guilt that comes with it as well, doesn't it? Because we are so attached to our parents and the reputation of our parents and the community, what's expected. And I think this is a very, very delicate topic that we go into layers of it as well. But at the end, what Jamila is saying is find what makes you happy. There is outdated things that we can no longer actually adhere to. So really look at what's making you who you are and finding your identity. We've covered a lot. So I just want to, before we go on another break, Jamila, we are at the beginning of Ramadan. And we've also come out of lockdown. So it's like a two-way thing here.
Yeah.
How do you think people can actually start reframing and working on their mindset?
So the exercise I just gave right now about your limiting beliefs, really doing that and doing it daily, because when you do it daily, you'll start to notice the patterns in your mind. Like you'll start to notice, hey, I'm not writing down today that I feel too old to find someone. And you realize that that's how you're going to realize that you started to reprogram that part of your mind that actually believed that. And as you also do this, like start embodying the person and activating that within you of a woman who is available and who is ready to find her partner. Like, would she be only staying indoors and not actively looking? Would she be happy, excited, enjoying her life anyway? And when the partner does come, it's just going to be like from the overflow. It's not going to be something that's actually fulfilling her core needs because she can give her over.
I'm going to stop you there. Please don't forget what you're saying. We're going to go on another short break. We're covering a lot of interesting topics, things I haven't even heard before. So please make sure you stay tuned and come back and join us on the mindset of a single Muslim.
With 3 million members searching, singlemuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live. With 3 million members searching, singlemuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
Welcome back, and I'm going to go straight to Jamila because we were talking about something very interesting, and the question was at the beginning of Ramadan, we're only 3 days in, how do we now reframe our mindsets in unlocking our limiting beliefs? Jamila, if you can kindly just repeat everything you just said there and just go through that again, please.
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing I would do is start looking at what are your limiting beliefs? What are your beliefs around finding a partner, around having a successful relationship, around having a happy relationship? What are the things that come up for you? So is it things coming up for you? I'm too old to get married. There's not enough good men out here. I have to end up with somebody that's got kids and I don't want that, but that's what I'm going to end up with. What are the things that really come up for you? What are your core beliefs that are coming up for you around having what you really truly desire? And then start questioning them. Now, are they really true? Is it really true that there's not enough good men out there? And go deep in this. Don't just think from your analytical mind, just go deep. And you will realize that no, it's not true. Because there's 6 billion people on the planet. Like there's so many people on the planet and pretty sure there's some good people out there. Start doing this for all of your limiting beliefs. And the second step I would say is start embodying and activating that version of you that already has that successful marriage and knows it's happening, knows it's coming. Like she would take care of her body. She would eat healthy food. She would dress properly. She'll be living a fulfilled life anyway. And then the partner will just be like from the overflow. The partner won't be what's fulfilling her deep core needs. She will be fulfilling her deep core needs. And then the partner will just be like inevitably coming in from that.
That is mind-blowing stuff because I remember when I started having a lot of self-limiting beliefs, and a lot of those self-limiting beliefs didn't even belong to me, which was crazy. Again, it came from society, it came from culture, it came from these restrictions. Either you're too old, or who's going to marry you, or you're from a different culture, time is ticking on. So that is an important task we can all do. If there's anything we can take away from this conversation, and those of you who are tuned in, please make sure you take some time out. Ramadan, if you are at home, get a pen and a piece of paper and start questioning those limiting beliefs. And there was something I was speaking about today. A lot of people have anxiety around finding the right spouse, or feeling a bit low, or feeling depressed, because the pandemic really showed or heightened our loneliness and our need for companionship. And those are the times when you really need to sit down and look at the limiting beliefs, because once you are able to become aware of it, the conversations you have with yourself really changes, doesn't it, Jamila?
Yeah, definitely. And once you realize as well that, hey, I don't need to be available for the struggle, because that is something that a lot of people are just available to. They're just available for struggling. And that's the lens that they start looking at the world from. They start, it's like they're wearing glasses that are making them see that everything's a struggle, everything's hard, everything's difficult, everything's sad. If you choose to reframe it and say, okay, how is this actually the best thing ever for me? Okay, the fact that I'm alone, the fact that I've got so much time to myself is such a best thing for me, because I get to work on my health, I get to work on my fitness, I get to work on my emotional intelligence and my feelings and my mindset. So that when I come out of this, I'm going to be a completely new person. And I get to work on my spirituality. When you start looking at it from that lens and you start actively doing those things, the whole world starts to shift, because you're open to different possibilities and different opportunities also.
Amazing. We have a question. I love everything you've just said there. I'm just going to quickly find this question. And the question is, lockdown has made my anxiety worse. We literally just mentioned that. And I'm more anxious than ever to find a partner. How can I overcome this? I feel like it is a constant battle within myself.
I love this question. So the answer is already in the question there. If you're anxious to find a partner, you're not really allowing yourself to find that partner. You letting go of that attachment and that need to have something, need to have someone, can actually allow them to come into your life. So for that person, I would say really work on your anxiety first. Let go of the anxiety and the need and the desperation to find someone. And when you've been able to let go of that, that's when you can attract and have that person come into your life so much more easily. Because sometimes you feel that if I find someone, then I'll be less anxious. That's going to let go of my anxiety. But usually what ends up happening is a person comes in your life and you bring your anxiety on back into that person and into the dynamic, and you either make your anxiety worse or it starts affecting the relationship in a negative way. So I would advise is really start working on your anxiety. And one of the most powerful ways that I give to my clients, and subhanAllah, I've had clients that have had anxiety for 9 years, overcome it, is really doing body scans and body awareness techniques. So just taking deep breaths and like focusing all your energy on your toes, on your feet, and then your legs, and your knees, and your pelvis area. And then keep going until you reach the top of your head, and then do it back down again. And do this like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just notice if the anxiety is still there. And usually it's gone, because when you're in your body, when your awareness is in your body, your awareness can't be in your head at the same time. And anxiety is just from the head. It's just in your mind space too much. So dropping into your body is like one of the most powerful ways that you can release that anxiety.
Again, amazing, valid points. I know anxiety is something that a lot of people are going to be struggling with, and especially with our Muslim community, something that, again, we don't address. It's something we don't speak about, we're not vocal about, but it's a real crippling human effect that it has on us mentally and physically. So these are very amazing things Jamila has addressed for us. Work on yourself. This is a beautiful time for us to be single. Those of those people who are single to actually enjoy time learning about you, because we focus so much on our time trying to find a partner that we forget who we really are. Find out what makes you happy, find out what you can actually bring to that relationship, to that marriage. And rather than what Jamila just said, you end up putting that anxiety on the other person. It's not fair. They're not here to heal you. You're here to do the job yourself. Thank you so much for sharing these beautiful golden nuggets so far, Jamila. With the single Muslim, whatever's going on in our community, what do you think is the hardest part about finding a soul partner, our perfect partner at the moment?
This is a good question. I feel like one of the biggest things that I see my clients struggle with is the belief that the romantic, close, playful relationship that they desire is really out there for them. I think that's the biggest thing, because there's been so much conditioning from parents, from culture, from society, with especially Asian, in the Asian population, and that if you're old or if you've been married before, you won't have a successful marriage. Like, you're going to have to compensate something else. You know, you're going to have to just make do. And I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of single Muslims are dealing with. But if you can really reframe that belief, you can actually turn that around and actually help heal the whole Muslim population in a way, the whole single Muslim population in a way, because you're proving that it's not true. It doesn't have to be true.
You're very full of knowledge and information, Jamila. I love it. Thank you. We have another question, and this one is, my wife has been diagnosed with depression. How can you make it better? So this is a husband concerned about his wife's mental well-being. I mean, you're married, Jamila. When you're going through sadness or moments of darkness, and we all go through it, whether we're married, whether we're single, whatever it is. First of all, how do you talk to your spouse about it, and how can he help you? Just give a real life example, because some of us are really disconnected from knowing how to help our spouses on an emotional level, other than just provide, look after the children. But when you're able to sink deep into looking after the welfare, it's different as well, isn't it?
Definitely. So the biggest advice I can give, and it might be really hard to hear this, is that you can't heal the other person. Because I've been there, I tried to do that. It doesn't work. You're only going to make them relapse into their state again. You can't heal them. The healing has to come from within themselves. The change has to come from within themselves. They have to be the ones to initiate the change, to make the change. So, but what you can do is be there as a sense of support for them when they need it, as a sense of emotional support, giving them the encouragement that, you know what, I feel like you're going to get out of this. I know you're going to get out of this. But not giving them the tools directly or telling them exactly what to do, allowing them to find that themselves. Because when you force change on someone, it's sort of like they retaliate and they kind of resist it. So allow them to kind of have their own awakening, their own coming out of that depression, and be the best example. That's the other best thing I can give, is that you be the light. You be the one who's happy, who's excited, who's seeing peace in every moment, gratitude in every moment. And when you beam that light without needing them to change, they're going to be, inshallah, attracted to that. They're going to be maybe asking you questions. What are you doing? What is your gratitude process? They might be wanting to be around you more because it feels good to be around you more when you're happy, when you're excited, and when you're grateful. And allow them to come out of that state in their own time as well, inshallah.
Again, amazing valid points. Depression isn't something somebody can snap out of. People who are depressed, it's a chemical imbalance in their brain as well. And it's a language that they use by themselves. So the idea, if you're in a relationship or a marriage, is to just work with the person and not try to fix them. Again, a very, very, very valid point Jamila made. Your job isn't to heal them. They have to do it themselves. And I guess also in our Asian community or the Muslim community, because we don't understand depression, because we don't understand these mental health issues, it becomes an issue of how do we work with it, how do we help ourselves, and how do we help the people that we love and care for also. We're going to be going on a break very shortly, and we've already covered a lot in terms of the struggles of the single Muslim generally in the lockdown, recent effects of the third lockdown we've had with this pandemic. We've spoken about the inner healing, the looking at cultural issues that may have inflicted on us as well in terms of our limiting beliefs. We would love to hear from you. You can either call in live at the studio on 01924231083, or you can even text us in confidence on 07950797017. I'm loving listening to your questions, so please make sure you carry on sending them in, and we'd love to hear from you soon. So join us in the last part of the conversation. See you very soon.
With 3 million members searching, singlemuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live. With 3 million members searching, singlemuslim.com proudly sponsors Single Muslim Live.
Welcome back in the last segment of our conversation on the mindset of the single Muslim with Jamila Tailor. We have had an amazing conversation, and the time is flying by, and it's Ramadan also. So we are literally non-stop talking. I love these conversations. Now, Jamila, at the beginning, you mentioned about you helping single female or even married females through some of your programs that you have, where you help the business owners get into the right frame of mind. Why is that important right now? And can you also go through some of the stuff that you do, what programs you have, and why it could be beneficial for people?
So I'm currently running Supercharge Your Gifts for female business owners who know that they've got a gift, or they know that they want to, create a business, but they just don't know how. They don't know what their gift is, and they want to share it online. They want people to buy from them, and they want to release these money and sales blocks are coming up along the way around, is it, can I really charge this much for my services? Will people buy from me? All these feelings and self-doubt that comes up, really releasing that, and really releasing the fear of being seen, which is so inherent right now in so many women. So there's that program, and there's also a group program called Thrive that I'm going to be running soon, which is to really help women through any area of their life. So in the past, we've helped women let go of procrastination, self-esteem, and low self-worth and anxiety. Like I mentioned, there was a woman who had anxiety for like 9 years, and she let go of it. We've helped women change how they see their body, and just by that, they lost so much body weight. The money blocks that come up around attracting more money, around keeping more money, around having a successful business and people paying you, and so much more. Perfectionism tendencies and people pleasing, all these things that come up generally. This is an amazing container, and there's an amazing level of sisterhood in this container as well, which is something we rarely see, to be honest, online. I rarely see, where women are really rooting out for each other, and really rooting for each other, and there's no sense of like jealousy or hate or anything like that, but real true sisterhood with each other.
That's amazing. So those are the programs. There is help out there for people who are struggling, whether you are a single Muslim, whether you are just looking to improve. And I think in this life right now, it's all about how we can enhance our mindset, how we can become the best version of ourselves, whether we are single, married or not. Because essentially the way I look at it, Jamila, if I'm a single Muslim, I'm going to be by myself. When I'm married, essentially, you're still going to be by yourself, doing the things that make you happy, find success, bring you joy. So, and every single one of us are in our own body and our mind. So it's important to understand how we can work in a positive, elevated mindset. I wanted to bring the next question to you about reframing. We touched on this earlier in the last segments of the conversation. Can you explain that a bit more, and how we can actually, what do you do to help people refrain from a negative mindset when it comes to looking for a partner, to finding a positive reframing of the mindset to finding a partner, if that all makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things I use with my clients is affirmations, but using them in a way where your body is not rejecting them. Because if you're saying that I have a romantic husband in my life right now, and there's something in your mind going, no, you don't, you liar. No, you don't, you liar. No, you don't, you liar. It's not going to work. It has to be something that really works with you. So with my clients, I kind of tailor it, tune it to what they really need. And also allowing like these other statements in the beginning of these affirmations that allow your brain, allow your subconscious to start believing it. So for example, saying, I'm open to believing that there are enough good men out there. I'm open to believing that the right man for me is out there. I'm open to believing that somebody would love to treat me in an amazing way. And the more you say that, the more you're kind of opening your subconscious and your mind to believe that this is possible for you. And when you start really believing it's possible for you, that's when you start taking the actions to really make it happen.
I'm actually like just listening to you. I can listen to you all day long. This is like information that needs to be repeated and regurgitated on a daily basis, because a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are struggling on many different layers, whether it's grieving, whether it's loss, whether it's feeling lonely, feeling sad. And I can only speak about the single Muslims here as well, because collectively, single Muslims are going through this wave of trying to find themselves, trying to find a balance, the career, trying to balance finding a partner, trying to please their parents, trying to please themselves. So it's very, very messy sometimes. So thank you for sharing that with us. I have a few last questions. So as a mindset coach, Jamila, how do you get your clients to set goals in life, in general life, or even finding a partner? What would be your best advice for that?
So my best advice is really letting go of the structure around goals as well, in a way, and being open to this or something better happening. So even if you're saying for yourself that one of my goals is to find a partner this year and get married this year, you can have that as a goal, but then release it, like release the attachment to it, because it could be that happening or something even better happening. It could be that you find them and you get married and you find a house, or you go on amazing holidays, whatever it is. So release the attachment to it. And anytime a goal doesn't actually happen, don't make that mean something about you, because the moment you mean something about you, it could actually be happening in the background, like things could be working in place to make it happen. And because you suddenly got into a place of it's not working, it's not happening, and you lose faith and you lose trust in Allah that it can happen, you stopped all those things that were happening, like kind of, you lose sight of them. Because it could just happen the next day, it could happen the next month. And when you really look at your lifelong vision, does it really matter if it happens this year or this year plus 2 days?
Thank you for sharing that with us. We haven't got long to go now. And I really wanted to ask this question right at the beginning, but I've saved the best question to the last. We speak a lot about single Muslims. We actually neglect the divorced single parents out there, this divorced single man or woman out there. And I guess it's a different kind of mindset that these divorcees have as well when it comes to finding the right partner, which impacts the way they think and their perception. So that in particular, for the divorced man or woman, what advice can you give to them when it comes to approaching the dating game, the halal dating game again?
I would say the same thing, to be honest, because it's all just happening from your limiting beliefs. So when you start thinking that this is a label I've put on myself, that I'm divorced and it's a bad thing, when you kind of see it like that, that's when other people are going to see you like that. But when you see it as in, hey, this is me, and I'm going to own it, and I'm still going to, do my inner work around it and then start moving forward, then who you attract around that changes as well. Because I know plenty of divorcees who are, alhamdulillah, amazingly married and are happy and are successful because they don't see that as a stigma on themselves. They saw that it's a good thing that maybe they've already started families. Maybe they're like a couple of years already with a family, and the other person is happy that, they've already got a family. That kind of takes out some time for them. So try not to see it as a stigma and do your work around the limiting beliefs around it too.
How very interesting. It's literally about how you see yourself. If you're single, it's, have I been left behind? If you feel like you've been left behind, that's the energy you're going to attract. If you're a divorced single Muslim, if you feel like it's a bad reputation or stigma that society has and you start believing it, that's the energy you put out as well into the society. So it actually blocks us in a way of finding the right partner. And I think it also blocks us from stepping into who we are supposed to be, in our true potential, in our true greatness. And again, Jamila has mentioned so many times, find out who you are. If you're single right now, this is a perfect time for you to work on yourself, to find out what makes you happy, to work on your happiness, to find out the things that you enjoy. So we've got literally about 3 minutes left. Jamila, over to you now for the last 2-3 minutes. What is your best advice when it comes to people wanting to make a change? What are the few steps that they can take?
I would say always start your change in baby steps. Anytime you maybe try to make quantum huge leaps and your energy can't hold it, like you can't stay consistent. It's the same thing like in your diet, in your fitness, in your exercise, whatever it is. If you make huge changes in one go, you probably stop the next month. But if you're able to make tiny baby steps in your inner work journey, in your healing journey, in your connection with yourself, in your discovering of yourself, that is going to create more long-lasting effects, inshallah.
Wow. Small changes, just like the gym, how we step into the gym, our health and fitness. And these are the ways we can actually sustain the transformation as well, isn't it? What's been one of your, very quickly, can you share a client transformation recently that you've had?
So I've had a client recently that's just been divorced and she's got so much pain and heartbreak, she was holding on to it. Just after a few sessions, she was able to let go of that pain, that heartbreak, realize that, hang on, this is actually the moment for me now to start my business. And she's gone ahead and she started to create her business and starting to attract clients and seeing that this is actually a good thing for her right now.
Wow. I love Jamila's work. I love her programs. I love the fact that she is a woman that actually preaches what she talks about as well. So if you guys are interested, please make sure you go and find her on Instagram on Abundant, what is it called? Abundant Muslim?
Yeah.
Abundant Muslim, or her name is on the screen. You can also find her like that. Her programs are on her Instagram page on the bio. And we are nearly coming to an end. We have covered a lot on this program about the mindset of a single Muslim, but we have actually gone a bit deeper, talking about childhood trauma, talking about the things that could have caused us harm with rejection and feelings of abandonment that can actually prevent us from finding the spouse, the man of our dreams, the woman of our dreams, is down to our self-limiting beliefs. So just to wrap it up, make sure you do the exercise that Jamila has spoken about. Write it down. What's stopping you? Thank you so much to my guest tonight. It has been a pleasure having you on the show. For me, Nazia Khatun, and the whole team at British Muslim TV, thank you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum.